Voter in Nevada is to change the laws that were put in place back in August due to COVID-19. They were supposed to be put in place to be temporary to protect us voters from the COVID virus, and well, they've led to a lot of mistrust in this election, and America can't stand divided like this. We need integrity in our elections.
And I'm so sorry, it turns out I had a technical problem, so could I have you give me my name one more time there, please?
My name?
Yeah.
John Qualteri.
Thank you. And could you spell the last name again?
Sure, it's Qualteri.
Thank you so much. And so, John, it sounds like your concerns really go beyond just the measures they're taking for the legislative session this time around. Is that right?
They do. I'm looking forward. I just would like them to stand by their commitment to, I understand protecting the public from the coronavirus. I also understand election integrity, and the two need to mesh. And in the future, we need to repeal those laws. We need to have a vote with a signature attached to it, not the day of, beforehand. We need to have ballots that get sent out to people who actually request them, not people who of unknown origin, or we don't have good enough technology to track any of this. And I think this is what's leading to most people even wanting to be here. A nation without fair elections is a nation without laws. People can say whatever they'd like about that, but in essence, if half of America doesn't believe that the elections are fair, we've got half of America who doesn't believe in law. That's a scary prospect for everyone, not just Republicans. This is not to do about Trump. I mean, he maybe lost, maybe did. I can't say for sure, but I can say for sure is that half of the people think he didn't, and they're not happy, and nobody's addressing their concerns. I feel at the state level is the only place this could be addressed is by having accountable elections in our states, every state, not just Nevada. And until we have that, I don't think there's going to be any legitimacy to any elections going forward. Not just to say the presidential election, but any election, including our legislators. So if they're listening, and I hope they are, I hope that they take into account that do the right thing. It's not hard. We did it for many, many years, and all of a sudden we've changed the rules to adapt it to this coronavirus. I just want to make sure that they get changed back to the way they were beforehand. That's all we're asking for.
And Faith, one thing that I've heard from folks that have been talking about in advance of this session is that the way that things are set up now with the social distancing measures, etc., is really going to favor wealthy interests and corporate lobbyists. And I'm hearing from folks in the grassroots community that they're at a disadvantage essentially to get contact with legislators and get bills put forward. I wonder, do you have an opinion on how things are being run during this session? Do you feel like people are being locked out of the legislature?
I feel like red rural Nevada is being locked out. And that's the majority of the state, if you look at it. And even Washington County's half red, it just shows blue. Washington and Clark both take a majority of power of vote away from the red rural.
And you're talking about land area when you say half the state?
When I'm talking about red rural Nevada, I'm talking about every county other than Clark and Washington. The other 15 counties. Full of farmers and ranchers and dairymen like us that our vote doesn't seem to count. Nor does the
And do you all live here in Carson City? And is this the first time you've come out for a protest?
It is.
Oh yeah?
It is our first time ever coming out, but like I said, it's a scary proposition moving forward with no laws in our country for anyone. If half the country does not believe the election is fair, it has to be above reproach. It just has to be. Otherwise, our republic will not stand.
And what kind of changes would you like to see to restore some of that faith in the right?
Well, we ran elections in this country for a couple hundred years now, and the rules we were running with before seemed to be just fine for everybody. We did not have this kind of subterfuge with the election and the results until we started mixing it with the COVID restrictions and the safety of the election. I just want to see that it goes back to the way it was before, when we were past this COVID-19 threat and elections can actually mean what they meant.
And do you think vote by mail has a place in any elections? Do you think that's ever valid?
I've voted absentee ballot many, many times because I do work out of town during election season. And I request my ballot. I turn in my paperwork. I go out of my way to take care of these things beforehand so that my vote can count. And mailing it in, they can find a way to secure it. I'm all for it. The more people voting, the better, I do believe. But you have to be above reproach. You have to be fair. Like justice itself, one. You need to know that your vote counted, and my vote counted, and your vote counted, and everybody's vote counted.
Yeah, we want to take the votes.
And have you voted absentee before?
I have. Up until the time I retired, because I worked out of school, so
And what about during the last election? Did you mail your ballot back in, or did you show up in person? And
Both the primary and in the general election, we showed up and turned our votes in person.
I heard Monica Jay's trying to get through.
Cool. And I guess I'm curious, what was your experience voting in person during this most recent election, since things were so different and strange?
Those silly actors don't have
things were fine. We voted early voting in our community there, and it was very smooth. And it's not good. Disappointing.
The executive orders with all presidents, past and present, have been out of hand. It's nothing more than a excuse for not legislating. They don't want to spend their political capital on these smaller battles, which need to be fought. We need to have a talk about immigration. We needed to have a talk about DACA. I think there's common ground in the middle that both sides can agree on. However, I do feel like in today's political climate, especially with this election being challenged by half of America and then the other half telling him to shut up, it was legal, I feel like it's kind of deja vu all over again with the election of 16 when Trump was elected. You know, everybody, he's not our president, and they were mad. I mean, I get it. I understand how they feel. But at some point, you have to say we're all Americans. You have to be an American. You have to love this country more than you love any one particular political party. I think President Trump would stand behind that. I think that President Biden should try to stand behind that. I think that it's what makes this country great. We can disagree and still get along. We can find the common ground, but for the past 16 years, we haven't even tried. I mean, it's been a downhill slide, you know, and I would have to look at the way the media reports and reporters in general, and I don't know about you, I haven't read any of your work, but, you know, well, you can't have the journalism trade all be one side or the other, and I don't care if it's left or right. What people need is the truth. And people are smart enough to make their own choices. That's why there's people out here today, is because they don't feel like the media has been reporting fairly. They don't feel like it's been consistent, and they don't feel like we've been fed the truth. I look at social media on top of that. Obviously, they're a flawed medium. They're a big part of the problem in America with the divisiveness. Whether they want to be or not, they are. They need to be reined in a little bit. I hate the idea of you know, any curtailment of the First Amendment. I think it's wrong. I think people should be able to say what's on their mind and speak freely. But like I said, I don't feel like we're getting that through the social media platforms right now. To ban a former president off of a social platform, I mean, not that I use Twitter, I never have, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do use Facebook. I don't use that either. I won't use any of those platforms. I've never subscribed to that. I'm kind of a hands-on kind of guy, and I believe that if I have something to say, I'll come and say it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the President of the United States, he probably can't be here today. Whether it be Biden or Trump, or George Bush, or Clinton, or even Carter for that matter, all our living presidents that are left, you know, but they all should be a little bit concerned about the stiflement of the free speech on any of these social media platforms. That is totally un-American. That's not what makes this country great. Diversity of views is what makes this country great. I may not agree with it, but I will probably die defending it.
Well, thank you both so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
Well, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. Is it okay if I get a quick photo of you both?
Sure.
Excellent. Thank you. I think I'll just do it that way. So we have the...
ASSIDY, then POCOCK.
Great, thank you. And can you just tell me briefly why you're out here today?
Yeah, well, I heard about it through the Battle Born Patriots group, which I live up in Reno Sparks area. And the purpose that I saw of why we were here was the being locked out, so that citizens weren't allowed in the legislature unless they were either vaccinated or had a quick test, but that the legislature themselves were not required. And that just seemed unfair and wanted our voices to be heard. And I think other things that I would like to see done and changed are just the reopening of businesses, you know, being allowed to operate at full capacity, and opening the schools back up. I think that definitely hurt the kids. And I know there's not a lot of science specifically for that, but I believe that Assemblywoman Annie Black has written a bill to do some of these things and perhaps get an economic emergency declared to end all of the health restrictions. And so that is something that I would love to see put on the docket for discussion and vote.
And a question for you, I guess I'm curious to hear, you know, do you typically come down here for the legislature?
I have never been, yes.
Okay.
Well, I haven't lived in Nevada for maybe a year and a half-ish, so I haven't been here in an extremely long time. But yeah, I've never been. I've always had opinions and and felt strongly about things, but recently just got more fired up and wanting to actually make a difference. You know, you can sit on your couch and complain about things, but it doesn't do anything unless you actually go and start writing or speaking. So I started writing a little bit on kind of ideas like this under the moniker Coffee Stained Constitution, if anyone's interested. But and so just trying to get your voice out there and know that there are people who feel this way, and you have to show up if you want something to be done.
One of the things I've heard from grassroots organizers and community groups is that the COVID-19 measures they've put in place for the legislature are putting them at a disadvantage, and then also essentially making it easier for corporate lobbyists to have better access to legislators. And so I guess I'm curious, do you see that as an issue too, or is your concern mainly with normal citizens being able to get in the building?
Yeah, I definitely am more worried about, I guess, just individuals at the individual level than I could see how things with COVID-19, all kinds of things with money and funding and things could definitely open doors to the big money or corporations for lobbying and things like that, but I don't know that much about that.
Mm-hmm. And another question for you as well. I know that they're planning to live stream. They say they're going to be live streaming all of the committees and all the different convenings and everything. Are you planning to kind of follow along on the YouTube channel or on the legislative website?
Yeah, I'll have to check that out some and see what you got. If you're going to be out here, you need to know what's going on. So definitely trying to. I've been more plugged into national level politics, not so much local, especially since I haven't been here in a really long time. So definitely the more local and state policies and things are things that I need to still learn more about.
And can I ask, where did you come from?
The last place I lived was Orange County, California, but I was there for a few years. But before that, I'm from Ohio, like rural Ohio.
Okay. All right. And what brought you to Nevada?
Career, job, yeah, and getting out of California. Yeah.
Well, and since you've arrived, how do you feel about how? Are you in Reno or Sparks?
Sparks.
Sparks.
Yes.
How do you feel about local government?
Same. That's something I've recently been trying to get plugged into. Definitely. So I don't know a ton about, from the people that I know in Washington County. I know some people who work for the Washington County Sheriff's Department and things that I really, I like them and things like that. So I haven't seen anything big glaring things that bother me, but I haven't been free to plug in.
And moving forward, what are your plans? Do you think you're going to be coming out for more of these?
I'm not sure. We'll see. I know that one gentleman said they've been out here on Saturdays and they are going to come out here while the impeachment thing will start. But I'm not sure how much coming here affects that. But if there are things that I feel strongly about and I have the ability to come, I think I will. And one is I've been plugged in with the people going to the county commissioners meeting in Washoe County, and so that's something probably that I am more likely to go to, a little bit more at the county level.
Well, thank you so much, Cassidy. Really appreciate it.
And I do want to ask you a question, going back to the national politics question. I kind of want to focus on, I guess, the last 3 months in American life. From your standpoint, as briefly as you can you tell me, what do you think has happened in terms of unity, division, and where we are today?
I actually think that a lot of what we've seen in that, I don't condone violence or lashing out of anybody on either side, right? And so I think a lot of it really stems from a place of fear. People on BLM and Antifa supporters, right? They are truly afraid, like the BLM supporters were truly made to believe that the cops were out to get them, to kill them. So out of fear, they lash out. Or the people at the Capitol, they were truly afraid that their rights were being taken and they were going to lose their republic. So they lashed out of fear. Or, even we'll look around, people yelling at others without masks on, right? They've been made to believe that they're going to get this virus and they're going to die. And so out of fear, they lash out. And so, and certainly a lot of that can be stoked by what our so-called leaders have said, right? But I still support their ability to say those things. We just also need to allow everyone to speak on both sides, to show them why, no, this is wrong, you don't need to be afraid, or but also to give hope. We've lost hope, and like I've said, I've been saying to some people, I sympathize with that. I fear that we're losing some of our rights, but my fear will never lead me to lash out in any way, because my hope and my security isn't in my government or even my earthly life, right? It's in an eternal hope. I have hope in Jesus as my Savior, and so I'm not going to lash out like that. So I think that's a message that we need to get out also, that lashing out isn't the answer. And there's all this calling for unity on both sides, but it's all hollow talk. There's no action behind it. The left can go out and say, Biden can say unity, 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 several times in his inauguration address, and then several hours later sign a number of executive orders that go exactly against all the people that he's saying you need to unify with us, things that are going to only make them angry. And so what are they supposed to think then? You're just speaking hollow words, hollow messages. So I don't know, it's kind of all over the place, but some of my thoughts.
Fair enough. I guess in closing, what do you think could go a long way to bring people at the local, state, and federal level together in common purpose?
Yeah, what I would love to see, and it's so infeasible, is just a return to a lot of those decisions that people disagree on, that are large sources of the division and the anger and the hatred, right? Take those out of the hands of the federal level, the national level. If you bring them back to localities, right? If I disagree with you, that's okay, because you can do one thing in your locality and I can do another thing in mine, and we can both live in harmony with the freedom to live as we desire at our local level, without it being dictated down to us from the top.
And just to conclude again, your name again?
Cassidy Pocock.
Cassie, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
And
can I plug these ideas? I've been writing about them. If you Google coffee stained constitution, you can find some of that.
Fair enough. Cassie,
shameless plug.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And you have a great day, man.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And we are...
Whom do you represent?
I'm actually a freelance guy today. Okay?
You're a criminal! Press 1 if you understand! Press 2!
I'm
Governor, step down! You're a liar!
So, just to illustrate this right now, I'm in front of the state legislature building right now, where minutes ago, I would say about 40, 50 protesters for a reopen event here. It was standing at an event up the street. A whole bunch of different.
Well, yeah,
is not going away.
10-4. I'll be here. I'll text you when I can. I'll be all over the phone.
Be quiet! Freedom! 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 Don't take it!
So right now, legislators are in the building right
We
now.
got the power! As I was saying, under God and His nobody's gonna know the things very soon.
So to illustrate this,
back from power. We tried during the recall, now it's time to this criminal who is denied the medic consign Hammond Nevada to their grave. That might be murder. The other crime the governor's legally is denying our federal rights to Are you ready for hell?
Kind of swings up and down a little bit. Just to kind of...
During your last so-called emergency session, where you made it more difficult for us to recall him, and also further enable the fake voting machines with the
And yes, there is a gun. That is a gun.
It's our legislature building. It's our legislature building. Crazy patriotic Americans who don't want a piece of all assembly. They don't like to see eliminate people that burn the city and country down. All center level to make music, Jordan. Oh no, that's not a riot. Oh no, that's not an insurrection when they attack the White House. Burn the church in Jackson Square, tear down Jackson's statue in Jackson Square in the White House. No, that's not an insurrection. That's not a riot. That's a mostly peaceful assembly when we're burning the place down. As they did Reno, as they did a bank in Reno, they assaulted City Hall, broke in, vandalized it, burned it, spray painted it, gave innocent citizens a beat down, including a black reporter named John Williams. Disgusting. That's what the elimination.
That's fine.
Our protest in Washington, D.C. legislature was a thing to be proud of. It was the Antifa Mueller that ran up there and attacked the police.
I never like being the center of attention.
The Patriots were
Happy New Year, by the way.
New York fake voting machines. Fake voting machines. The fake news was the real Jesus is coming. Yes. The real Jesus is coming. It's either him or who. You make up your choice. Pick a side. Pick a side. Have a girl. Your fake voting machine. Your fake algorithms. Your fake computer chips.
I want to say that the legislature did. Well, That looks like Jim Sittlemeier is coming down the stairs. That looks like Jim Sittlemeier. I think I just saw Jim Sittlemeier coming downstairs. I think I just saw Jim Sittlemeier coming down the stairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just couldn't understand him in the hall. I did not know that.
Yeah, like really early. Well, not really. It's like at 10.
Right. Fair enough. He said it's going to be a boring session. He said it's going to be a boring session.
Alright.
Only! Only!
Take over, Roman! Italy, Colombia! Wow, what a carnival! I don't want Italy, Colombia! Let's go!
We also believe in the Pledge of Allegiance. We believe in our federal rights as citizens, which Governor Lee has denied on so many levels. States of America. And to the republic, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, that cute little song I was mentioning earlier that Justin Bieber wrote, it goes kind of like this. Whoa, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what surprisingly hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright sun through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched was the gallant leaving, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, yet through the night, then our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the this morning, and I didn't write that last one. It wasn't Justin Bieber. He's not even American. Go back to Canada. Just kidding. We're going to go to wall so high that even the Canadians won't be able to get over it in their Learjets. Come on. Another cute little song I wrote is called The Battle Hymn of the Republic. It's a foundational song for the Republican Party, which has much to be proud of. Why are you ashamed of being Republicans, rhinos? What's wrong with you? The Republican Party is the Democratic Party. And they wrote a number of cute little songs, and one of them was this. My eyes stepping.
We are patriots here. Here's the Constitution.
Pull out the good weather, great the wrath of God. It put away the light and terrible God. His truth is my share. This is my favorite part. Yeah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is my shadow. It's the other day. It lies for He was sent by God above to save the lives of you and me. It's true. It's true. This is the part we don't want to have to get to that they taught me this in the Boy Scouts. So they had called Onward Christian Soldier. The cowboy Bobby was one of those. Still am. See, when I was a Boy Scout. Yeah, Pledge Allegiance, I became a Boy Scout. And I became an officer.
I guess I got told Jim several legislators are elected.
My wife was talking to you guys earlier, and it was so loud. You didn't hear what? You guys heard a radio station? Yeah. What's the radio station? Tap Radio News. Oh, Tap. Got it. Perfect. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I don't know how long this is going to end up going on, but this is probably just going to screw me along.
I think the assembly is continuing.
Okay.
I'm just waiting. They're going to email me my test result. I'm just waiting on that, and then I think I'm going to head in and try and figure out how they're setting this up.
Okay. Are they doing a rapid test for you?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So you'll know like instantaneously.
Yeah, they said the email would arrive in 15 minutes.
I envy you being able to see this here session. But
Can I say hi to you, bro?
yeah.
What's your name, brother?
My name's Don.
What is it?
Don.
Don, nice to meet you, Frank.
Rodney, nice to meet you.
Yeah, how you doing, Don?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, who you filming with?
I'm freelancing today.
Oh, fun, dude. Yeah, nice. And then you got your show, you posted?
It's
Oh,
actually I'm live
nice.
streaming right now, actually.
Oh, sweet. You live doing it?
Right now, yeah.
Oh, nice, bro. Yeah, sweet, baby.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Just us, God-loving Americans, baby. Or, you know. But we're taken care of, man. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm here to watch. It's good.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome, bro. Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. But I met you before. Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, I see you, Brett. Yeah. Sweet, so, well, what do you have? All right, Brett. What's your reaction to it? Okay.
I thought it would be underdressed, I brought a spare jacket just for you.
Did ya?
Yeah, but it's in the car. I have a
It's outside, the sun's shining on us all. Yeah. So, how do you like talking into my fist?
Oh, wait, it's a great microphone. It's the one you
Yeah.
the best camera is the one you have this year. You've got your microphone.
Do you want to put any words in that fist so I can punch anybody with them?
I'm not a violent man, baby.
Oh, nice, brother. Well, Brett and Don. Yeah, cool. Nice meeting you guys.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, sweet.
Forgive me if I'm a little distracted. Should I grab this footage?
Oh, yeah.
There is no COVID, pandemic, or even a war exception to our constitutional federal rights, which includes peaceable assembly. Oh my God,
It feels weird not going in this year, but I also recognize this isn't the time for me right now.
I should write a song about that.
But I don't know why, it's just there's a weird sense of acceptance I have today.
Just being able to come in there and listen to your despicable deliberation. That's what they are like to steal our country further.
Yes. My memory serves correctly. Campaigns are decided by campaign donations sometimes. And caucus meetings. Oh. Hold on, I got Captain Police are up. Captain Police are up.
Team Brandon. Nice to meet you, Dean. We respect the police, and we respect the military. Come on, guys. Yeah. Thanks so much Okay, dude. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no problem. Well, did yeah. This is Dean. He's a cool guy. This guy's Dean. He's a cool guy. We respect the police and respect the military.
Come on.
Don't do it your own. Following your own. It's cool, man. Hey, I'm cool with Dean. Ask Dean. This is Dean. Come on, you trust me. Come on, buddy. Hey. Let's go. I'm not going to jail today, at least not for election.
We are what you call the good guys. We are what you call the good guys. Unlike the murder crowds.
You know, that is the good guys, you know, murder, loot, murder.
Yeah, they're the ones that were allowed to.
They were never required to have a permit either.
You see, you need a permit. That's just me. Have it around! Pick a side! You got presidential. Get away from this. I don't think so. Pick a side.
God's children.
119 days to go.
Thank you so much. Pick a side. You just didn't want to slide on me. Legislature violating federal law. I ain't the criminal. Violate federal law. You are a criminal.
down. You better do the right thing. Traitors! What happened to traitors? Our Constitution gives us the right to 80 million votes. So we've got maybe 10 million? Are we going to let that away with this? Is this the United States of America or not? We are not going to let a bunch of thieves get away with this. They're not getting away. We are going for them. We are going to catch them. And they're going to go with them. Stand up and fight.
Rock and roll, baby.
We're gonna go down to rock and roll back there.
And on the right side.
Don't get arrested like BLM.
Put on the right
You're the
side.
only one that's
We'd be doing that every day. All right, cool. We do assure these gentlemen that I'm a fine young man.
Well, you gotta show me that.
Thank you, bro. I got 2 flags, bro. Just ask me if you want one, bro. Ask and you shall receive. You want a flag, bro?
No.
Give me a hug, Cowboy. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, bro. Thanks, man. Oh, shit! No! No! No, erase!
I'll erase memory of Cowboy Love. Yes! Don't erase our rights, freedom, truck ride. Alright, let's go on like the monkeys.
Here we
go.
Whatever we do,
Walking down the street. I should write a song about that. You know, wait, the Beatles already did. We get the funniest. Come on, still now.
I don't have to do shit now.
Hey, we're the
I am
monkeys.
okay, ass.
People say we're
Ask
moving
to be
around.
God given our guy.
We're too
The big
busy.
guy is not Joe Biden. It's this guy who's in us and we're in him. Or her, or whatever.
You don't care about you. I don't care about you either. Okay? I don't care about you.
Freedom, baby. 97%. Our months are super awesome.
You're a fraud. You're a traitor.
300%.
You are a traitor.
Are not very nice people. And they don't care about the regular guy. Like us.
Let the people to peaceably assemble is that First Amendment guarantee.
God cares. God cares about us.
He doesn't care about you.
We're divinely protected. Thanks, Lord.
Not a bird falling
Get on
from the
my
sky,
side.
but it's a
Wait to the daddy-o. Who's your daddy-o?
What if Jesus was out here and send you with a mask on right now?
Thank you, Lord.
You're a coward. That's what you would think.
I thought it was how long
Rock and roll, baby.
that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, Lord, and give those who trespass against us. Lord, in case of the release of evil one, the land, give the power and the glory forever and ever. Angel, I walk in the valley of death. Fear no evil. But I survive. Amen. Burn, loot, murder, bite, love, murder.
Well, hey, whenever someone tells me what to do, I want to see my SpongeBob.
But you're still a child in God's eyes. Not to God, that's what a child does that.
I like my more page with the sign of family.
That's Jesus, I know. As the Bible tells me so, so it's true.
And it's brain salad surgery, Lake Farmer Surgery.
Brain salad surgery. That sounds like something the Donner Party would eat, you know?
me the blender! Oh, God!
It's pretty good. We'll put some, visual on it or something.
Oh, come on, dude. No free rats.
We're definitely going to go out on the street and engage in a little shameless semi-naked self-promotion,
Oh, okay.
Of our cause, of freedom! That's all we really want, freedom. Right, buddy? We know that. Pretty simple, freedom. I think we do need some flag waving on the street.
Jesus came over here to see you with your stupid mask on. What would he say? What would he say? Jesus would say, take it off, I get that, put a mask on you to breathe. That's what Jesus would say.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Jesus would say that.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing a
I
mask?
don't know what I'm doing, dude. I just don't want to stop.
Because the governor told you to do
And I
so.
feel like the guitar. It's like,
How much sense does that
He
make?
is a rock
Oh my
guitarist,
God.
and rock star.
Jesus made your immune system.
alright.
Hey, I don't care. You're a traitor. Buddy, you're a traitor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just a matter of tape. You think? You feel? Yeah, okay. Yeah, dude, yeah, that's...
So it looks like they're now moving down the street a little bit.
Oh, sorry, brother. Well, it was nice meeting you guys. Take care, dude. Yeah. That's right. Okay, you told me.
Alright, looks like they Alright, so I guess right here and now, over here at this site in the legislature right in front, the building has been spared, I guess, this part of the event. So it looks like they're all walking back to the original sites here. I'm going to flip this bad boy around. So this is down here at the state legislature building, just to illustrate where I'm at. If I can fix that problem. Sorry, Brian, I gotta take that. Can't take the call on it. So here's where we are. I'm presently at the state legislature building, where just a minute ago, I guess there was a couple minutes ago here, a protest is just kind of looks like it's heading back to its original starting point. Which started at 10 o'clock this morning. Then they came over here right around, I would say right at 11 o'clock, and started congregating right in the area right in front of me, in front of the Rotary clock, and just kind of had a few brief exchanges between protesters, demonstrators, and legislative police in the building behind me. Who came out of the building behind me to prevent them from kind of standing either on the flagpole behind me or getting near the building. As the building, just to illustrate this, I'm going to flip around here. The building's closed, so you can't get in. So, that is where we're at right now. So, demonstrators have gone back to default positions way behind me. Way in the back over there. You can't see. Oh, right there. Right there. You can see it right out there. They've gone back there So that's where we're at right now. The time is about, what, 10 to 12. But there are also some protesters, like this is me, need to be more activists. I can't see my own hand, I apologize. More active activists are like located right about there. So that's just how you've witnessed in the last hour or so. This is what I've been witnessing here. So I don't expect another, as the numbers have dwindled a bit, I don't expect another sizable portion of this group to show back up again. Oh, wait a minute. Spoke too soon. Alright. Looks like we have a little bit. So. Yes, yeah, alright. So that's what it looks like here at the legislative grounds here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this right now because, well, it looks like for the most part, this thing's over. Plus I have to go get ready for class here shortly. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this. So this is done at the Nevada State Legislature. Having watched the protest this morning, or it was a reopened protest this morning. To try to reopen the state, at least open the building to the public. Nothing too violent so far at this hour, but that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to go and wrap this 7 minutes to 12. This is Don here at the Nevada State Legislature, outside of the Nevada State Legislature, saying, have a good afternoon, take care.